Hey everybody, and welcome back to Elden Ring. In this episode, I think I mentioned what we're going to be doing, so let's go ahead and mark a few things on the map. So we're starting here at the first step, Site of Grace near White Mask Vare. We're going to work our way down this cliff here, and we're going to start at the ruins that are over here in the lake. And then we are going to work our way over here somewhere. There's another Site of Grace, and head down here to the beach. So we'll call that number 3. And then we're going to come down here to get some items and come back up this way. Depending on how much time that takes us, I have a feeling that we'll have plenty of time, but we'll start working our way kind of around the lake here, very carefully, obviously. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and get started by going to the Site of Grace and changing it to daytime. So again, there are specific bosses and enemies that come out at night that we are not going to be dealing with yet, but we will at some point in time. So here we go. Down to number 1. Alright, so looking down at it, you can see there's the ruins, the fallen ruins, and then like that area. Avoid the place with the bonfire. That's the most important thing. If you see the bonfire from a distance, just avoid it. There are some bats over here, so be careful of them. Not sure if they're necessarily weak to holy damage, but now that we have the sacred blade, we can use that. It throws the projectile. It looks so cool. I like it. Alright, so over here by these little crosses, there is a hole that looks like you could probably drop down it, but do not. You can pick up the smithing stone, but definitely don't drop down there. It is instant death. And some more really cool views over here. Really pretty. Alright, let's get to the point and the purpose of what we are doing here. We'll go that way in a little bit. Alright, it should be telling us where we are very soon. Oops. Alright, we are in the Dragon Burnt Ruins. Careful of the doggies. Usually doggies are nice, but these are mean. They will come and get you. And their attack patterns are predictable once you have fought a lot of them, but they can seem somewhat unpredictable, so be very careful. It's another one of those enemies that you do not want to take lightly. Let's go ahead and top off just to be safe. Alright, Glenstone Arc. Should be good. Neat. That was good. Alright, got some smoldering butterflies, rune fragments, more smoldering butterflies, another dog. Get over here. And beast bones. Guy with his torch, and the ever rare Trina's lilies. Really funny. I kind of regret saying that they were more rare than the Arteria leaves, but it has led to some humorous things for me, so I don't regret it at all. Alright, let's keep working our way around the ruins here. And if you notice, there was a little pathway going down, but I want to try to make sure there's no other enemies around here. I did see something. Oh, that would have been bad if I got surrounded by both of them. Alright, that should have been the last of the enemies, because we just got our flasks replenished. There was that rat in here, and we got another stone sword key, so that's good. Alright, let's come back over here and go down this little tunnel here. You want to be careful in here because there are quite a few rats, and rats can be very dangerous, so there are a lot of them. And if you just ran through here and unintentionally got all of their aggression towards you, they can easily surround you and stun lock you, so be very careful. I know there's a lot of tough bosses and enemies in this game, but the animals can be some of the worst, so especially the rats and the dogs, just be very careful. Alright, so word of warning: 1, either do not open this chest, or if you do open the chest, like I'm about to, spam the dodge roll button and hold back so that you roll away from the chest. So let me show you and then I'll explain why. So you see that cloud coming out. If you open the chest and stand in the cloud, you will get teleported to another part of the map that is very far away, and you will get locked in that area until you find a site of grace that you can teleport from. It is pretty challenging, so I would recommend just watching me do that. If you're not comfortable that you can get away from it in time, just leave that one alone. It is a trapped chest, so be aware of that. My first playthrough, that was one of the first things that I did, and it was very challenging. So there is another place over here. Yeah, right in here. So just to give you an idea, so here is the little tunnel that we went down. So just to the south of it, you want to double jump over this. There's another one, like another little grave tomb thing that we can go down into. So let's go ahead and walk down here. Now this one you definitely do want to open the chest. This one is absolutely worth it. I'm actually planning on using the weapon that is in this one, so. Okay, and this is going to give us the twin blade. Let's take a look at that. Comes with the spinning slash, a sword with blades on both sides of the hilt. This weapon is difficult to wield and demands high dexterity. Can be wielded with a single hand, but its true strength is unlocked with dual-handed spinning attacks. And I'm going to equip that one right now. So it requires 10 strength and 18 dexterity, and you can see that the damage and everything is much lower, but that's because we are using a +3 Uchigatana as compared to a standard twin blade. But I just wanted to show you the attacks. So let's go outside where it's sunny, and I will show you the single-handed. So that's it for the single-handed. That's the regular attacks. Those are the heavy attacks. Just a 2-hit combo. Charged heavy. Big swiping attack. Jumping heavy. Kind of slams it and pokes it down into the ground. If you do it two-handed, those are the standard attacks. Heavy attacks. Still just a 2-hit combo. jumping regular attack, jumping heavy attack. So this weapon is awesome. I really like it for a dexterity build, or a quality build, which is kind of a good mix of strength and dexterity. So that is pretty much it for the Dragon Burnt Ruins. Before we go over to number 2, no, let's go to number 2 first, because we are planning to get another Site of Grace. I'm going to put the Uchigatana back on just because we haven't upgraded the other. We are going to be getting another Site of Grace very soon. And then we'll go and upgrade the Twin Blade. Get over here, dude. Thank you. So we'll teleport, transport, fast travel back to the church where Kale is at. We'll use the smithing table, and we'll upgrade the Twin Blade. So then we can just fast travel right back here. Alright, so this one is the Seaside Ruins, and I think that was level up. We're getting close. But yeah, let's go ahead and go back to the church. We'll upgrade the Twin Blade, and we'll see if we can upgrade the Astrologer's Staff anymore. I can't remember if we fully upgraded that one. Not yet. So let's go ahead and do the Twin Blade first. So at the top of the menu, you can see, like, where's the Twin Blade? It's because we're looking at the equipped armaments only. And then if we hit the right bumper, we're going to go over to all of the melee armaments that we have in our inventory. So we'll come down here and we're going to spend some runes and 2 smithing stones to get it to level 1, 4 more to get it to level 2, and then we still need 3 more to get it to level 3. Alright, so it's still probably not going to be as strong as the Uchigatana, but it's, so I mean, you look at this, the physical power. It's dropping from 135 plus 26 to 132 plus 21, and just in case you don't do math very well or very quickly in your head, that's perfectly fine. If you press the Y button or the triangle button, it'll change what you're seeing on the right hand side of the screen. So you can see your attack power on the right hand armament 1. That is the Uchigatana. It's at a 161, and if we switch it to the Twin Blade, we're now going to have a 154. So it's a good quick way of seeing what your total attack power is for a weapon. And then the other thing, instead of using the spinning slash as the Ash of War, I want to see if we can put, yes we can, so let's put the bloody slash onto here. So if we keep it scaling with blood, it's going to cause a blood loss buildup of 71, which is very high, but it's going to drop our attack power quite significantly. So it just depends on what you want to do. If you want to have really good bleed buildup, that can definitely be good later in the game. For right now, I think we're okay just leaving it as standard. And it doesn't cost anything, so anytime you're at a Site of Grace and you want to switch it or just kind of test it out, then you can absolutely do that. So we'll do that, and now you can see on the left hand side of the screen we have Bloody Slash. So let's do that. Cool. So that is Bloody Slash, and it does use our own blood, so if you watch our health, it does cost us some health to do that, but it's going to cause bleed buildup on the enemies as well. So let's go ahead and fast travel back. We'll take that off, and we're going to go north, kind of up this cliffside, and see what kind of things there are here. kind of items we might be able to pick up. This is something that we're going to do later after we go a little further south. Oh, are they scared? Probably not. No, definitely not. Cool. Alright, so heading north up this way along the cliffside, there's some gravestones here. Oh, look, there's a guy. Oh, dang it, I wasn't hoping it would do that. Okay, so I had hoped that I could come up from it from this direction. So if you remember, we had picked up the Homing Instinct painting. So if you look at that and then look at where we are, this is the location of where the painter was when he did that. So you saw the little glowing guy show up, and then when you walk up to him, he kind of disappears and then he drops an item. So we got the incantation scarab. So that's the special reward that we got from this. All right, so this is a golden scarab worn directly on the head. These scarabs roll clumps of incantations during their labors. Slightly reduces the FP cost of incantations, but increases damage taken. As a scarab approaches death, it abandons its rolled treasure and stretches its wings wide for the long journey to its home nest. So if we go into our equipment, you can see it's a helmet, but check out the damage negation. It's negative, meaning that we're going to actually take more damage if we wear this. So this is what it looks like. Kind of goofy, but it does make your incantations stronger. But I personally don't think that it's going to increase it enough to make it worth taking more damage. So unless you're doing like a rune level 1 run of the game, and or if you're trying to do like a no-hit playthrough where you don't take any damage at all because you're dodging literally everything, I can't imagine that it would be worth wearing that. So I'm not sure if there is a way to get over there. I'm not too concerned. That was really close. I didn't come over here when I was practicing, so I don't know if there's any items. I don't want him dive bombing us and pushing us over the edge. Doesn't seem like there's anything over here. So let's go back up towards the site of grace. And we are going to drop down to that beach area that's down there off to the right hand side. There is a spirit spring close by. I believe it is over this way. A couple of octopi babies stuck on the landscape over here. Alright, make sure you're on torrent so that you can land safely. And we'll turn the camera a little bit and see if we can find the spirit spring. Where are you? I lost my mind. Is there not one over here? There is. Come on. Alright. There it is. I knew it was over there. I guess I couldn't see it because I was too close to the water. So if you need to, you can use your double jump to get closer to it. So here we are. And we are going to fight an enemy over there. He is fairly difficult. So just be careful. He does have some attacks that can hit pretty hard. I believe he's called an Alabaster Lord, so we'll try doing some magic just to get his health down. So purple magic is gravity. So he's using gravity attacks to try and pull us closer, which worked. Ooh, look at that blood attack. That was awesome. Alright, that worked really well. Alright, and then he is always going to drop this, the Ash of War Gravitas. Let's take a look at that one. So, grants affinities and skills. Obviously, we know that. This Ash of War grants an armament with the magic affinity and the following skill. Gravitas. Skill originating from the Alabaster Lords, who had skin of stone. Thrust the armament into the ground to create a gravity well. In addition to dealing damage, this attack pulls enemies in. So that was what he was doing. And if you also happen to notice, or if you go back and look, Old Knight Istvan, I think was his name, in the fight against the demi-human chiefs, he was using that attack. So there's a little tunnel right here. So just pretty much straight from where we came from and the little bonfire that he was at. So let's come in here real quick. It's not a cave that we're gonna do anything in other than pick up this item. But if you notice, this is the Cave of Knowledge. So this is where we started the game. So we just picked up the Haladrake Talisman. And that one is another talisman that we can have put on, and it will boost holy damage negation. So this one, it's the same description as the other, but I'll read it again just real quick. The ancient dragons who ruled in the prehistoric era before the Erd Tree would protect their lord as a wall of living rock. And so it is that the shape of the dragon has become symbolic of all manners of protection. So the other one that we got, the Flame Drake, that one boosts our fire damage. This one is going to boost holy damage negation. So that can definitely come in handy later. So let's come back down here. And if you remember that little blue stripe across the front of the cave, just makes it so that we can't take Torrent inside. All right, and the only other thing over on this little beach area is another crab. Let's go ahead and take him out. Or let's go ahead and... Oh, I just noticed something. I think that No, maybe not. That was good. Am I fat rolling? I'm not. I'm still a medium load. I don't know why I felt like the rolls were a little bit slower. I thought that I was in a heavy equipment mode. So when you put on new armor and new weapons and things, make sure that you're aware of that, especially if you're cutting it close or trying to keep it on the high end of light or on the high end of medium. So, all right, let's go back up here on the Spirit Spring. Look at the moon. That's so amazing. It is so incredibly stunning. All right, I'm gonna refresh everything over here, get 200 free runes, and I am guessing that we might be able to level up again. So let's do that real quick. We cannot. Did we really spend that many runes on upgrading our weapon? Okay. All right, so then the next thing that we're gonna do is come down here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and hop on Torrent and head up that way. So over here you can see there's a bit of a fight going on. We will deal with and or talk to them momentarily. Let's head down here first. Fight some more demi-humans. Oh, I just realized that we picked up another smithing stone. I'm not sure. I think we still needed more than just the one. Careful on that edge right there. where the item was that we picked up. Obviously, we are ambushed. So yeah, you can see how quickly and easily you can get surrounded and stun locked with these guys. Yeah. Like I said, they're very easy on their own, but you get surrounded with a bunch of them like that, it's very easy to get in a precarious situation. So be very careful of that. I probably should have been more aware of what I was getting into, but when I was practicing, I did not come down that way. So I knew that there was an item down there, but I forgot to double check it. So careful with that ambush. Hopefully you seeing me do that helps you. Okay, got quite a few more mini humans over here. Let's start by hugging this cliffside on the left. Glintstone Arc works well. The Twin Blade obviously works pretty well too. Let's try two-handing it. I know that there's going to be another ambush or other ambushes in here, so be aware. That's really cool. So if you just press the right bumper once, you attack twice. So it's like a kind of that double swing. Yeah, that's really effective. Really cool. I like that. Alright, so let's come up here and we get the large club and another exceedingly rare Criteria leaf. For once, an actual rare one. Alright, so we just got a large club, which is a great hammer, a thick, solid lump of wood. Wielding this striking weapon requires no skill. A simple, primitive weapon that requires only brute strength to swing about. And you have to have 22 strength to use that one one-handed. To use it two-handed, I think we would need like 16 or 17. Something like that, 16. Because 1.5 times 16 would be 22. So this Spirit Spring is going to take us up this way, which we aren't going to go that way quite yet. So it looked like that guy was floating. So yeah, if you want to explore that way, then of course do that. But for my purposes, I am not intending to go that way yet. So there's another item down there. Let's go get it. See if we can clear that map marker. We should be fine falling here. There's another part of the ambush. Just one? There's got to be more of them around here. I know that there are. Where are you? There you are. They can hide, but they can't run. Well, they could run, I guess, but they wouldn't get very far. Alright, so that one probably not really worth coming to get, but the club, yeah. Especially if you're wanting to have like a striking weapon. I don't use hammers and clubs very often, but I have heard that they can be very effective and very good. I did a playthrough of Dark Souls 2 and used the club almost the entire way through. That was kind of fun. So, I don't think there's any... Oh, this is where that little fight is happening between some knights and some demi-humans. So, let's come check that out. come around from this side. See if we can kind of get some group together. Oh, yeah. It helps to not be double two-hand wielding, not dual wielding. This one should be really good if we can get them lined up. There we go. This guy's trying to get around. I don't think so, buddy. And boom. Alright, so we got some bolts, glass shard, and some string, and a glowstone. I think there's a... Yeah, let's go ahead and get this item real quick. So we're at the very south end of the lake right now. This is where we can see those crabs. Oh, we can't see the crabs. Spoiler alert, there's some crabs in there that are hiding. I think there's a site of grace over here somewhere too, but we're going to be getting that one shortly. So let's come over here to this archway. There is another NPC that we want to speak with. He doesn't have a whole lot to say yet, but let's meet him.
You must be the new Tarnished. You do well to steer clear of a gill lake, fledgling. A dragon roosts there, and it's as fearsome as it is majestic. So, unless you're mad or wish to be burned alive, stay clear of the lake. Don't be a fool. Turn back before it's too late. Don't be a fool. Turn back.
Alright, so he doesn't give us his name there, but his name is Yura, and he is a dragon hunter. So between what he said, the fact that that is called the Dragon Burnt Ruins, I'm sure you can figure out the world event that may happen when we get close to that bonfire. So we are not going to be doing that quite yet. There's still a lot that we want to do and get ourselves a little bit stronger. So let's come up here into the water, and there's a crab there. I really want to be careful and not get too close. So this is one thing I wanted to show you though. Those are all the land squirts. So let's go into our item crafting and let's make a couple of the fetid pots. Those are the ones that do the buildup of poison. So if you remember that note that we had read that said that poison will cause them to rupture. So let's read this real quick. A cocktail of effluence is sealed inside. As the mixture ferments, toxins are produced alongside a putrid stench that seeps out once ripe. Throw at enemies to cause buildup of deadly poison. Beware though, those who carry these pots will slowly accumulate poison in their own body. Push someone in a privy, expect to get dung on your hands. That is really gross and really well worded and interesting. So now that I have it equipped, I don't know if it actually builds up poison on us, but it's an interesting description. So actually equip the right thing and toss it, and let's see what happens. I love it. So one of them ruptures, poisons the rest of them. They all rupture. And okay, so it does accumulate poison on us as well. I'm gonna throw another one. Yep, so that did work. Okay, so not necessarily carrying them put poison on us, but actually using and throwing them accumulates the poison. So really cool. I learned something new. All right, so let's go back to the seaside ruins, and we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. And then I will figure out what we're going to do next time. I think that we're going to come over here and we'll clear like this bridge, these ruins here, work our way back down, and then we'll start working our way south, I believe. So just wanted to say thank you again for joining me on this journey. I hope that you're enjoying it as much as I am. This is so much fun. So I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.